Very good morning to everyone. To all the dignitaries on the dais, the President of Kulla Nirmulana Sangam and the President of this meeting, Sri Wahid Garu, and all the Madam Justice Rajni Garu, Swaraj Lakshmi Garu, Bairi Naresh, Vimalaka, and the co-founder of Danak, you are co-founder of Danak, Rafi, the Secretary of this Kulla Nirmulana Sangam, Skylab Babu Garu, and Hanumantarao Garu, and all the members representing the various associations of Chayan, and one and all, a very good morning. Today I stand before you to speak on a very important and sensitive issue, the right to choose a partner, and how far it is a reality in India. I wish to begin this with a thought-provoking quote of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who said that the progress of a community must be measured by the degree of progress which women have achieved. To measure our progress today, one major indicator would be how freely men and women can choose whom to love and marry. The right to choose a partner is deeply rooted in our Constitution. Under Article 21, every individual has the right to life and personal liberty, and this includes the freedom to marry or live with a person of one's choice. This right is further strengthened by Article 14, which guarantees equality before the law, and Article 19, which protects individual freedom and expression. Our Honorable Apex Court of India has upheld this right in several landmark judgments. One of the judgment is in the Hadia case. It's famously known as Hadia, which is actually reported as Shafin Jahan versus Ashokan in 2018. The Honorable Apex Court clearly stated that the right to choose a partner is intrinsic to Article 21, and that the right to marry a person of one's choice is integral to the right to life and liberty. In Lata Singh versus State of UP in 2006, the Honorable Apex Court declared that adults have the freedom to marry anyone of their choice, and warned that family or community interference in such matters is a violation of fundamental rights. In Shakti Vahini versus Union of India in 2018, the courts took a strong stand against honor killings and directed state governments to protect couples facing threats for marrying against social norms. And most importantly, in Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India, again in 2018, the court recognized the dignity and autonomy of individuals in choosing their partners regardless of gender, thus decriminalizing same-sex relationships. The law is very clear, but the reality is painful. In many parts of our country, love is still governed by caste, community, and religion. Families often resist marriages across these boundaries, treating them as threats to social order or family honor. There have been numerous tragic examples. Young couples are attacked, ostracized, or even killed by their own families or communities. Cases of honor killings are very frequent in states like Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan, and also in some areas, traditional norms still overpower constitutional rights. There are many cases in Telangana also, where love across family and social lines led to violence and murder. Such incidents remind us as to how fragile personal freedom can be in a rigid social structure. Even when couples survive societal backlash, they often face harassment from local authorities or even the police. Under the Special Marriage Act, couples must give a 30-day public notice before marriage, a process that sometimes exposes them to social pressure and threats. The issue of right to marry a partner of his or her choice is particularly significant for women. Patriarchal traditions often restrict women's autonomy, treating them as carriers of family honor. A feminist writer, Simone de Beauvoir, once said, "Society cares about the individual only as long as they conform to its norms." When a woman chooses her partner freely, she challenges not just her family's authority, but the entire system of social control. Amidst all these challenges, there is still hope. Urbanization, education, and media have begun to transform mindsets. Many young people today reject caste and religious barriers in relationships. The younger generation is slowly redefining love and marriage as personal choices, not social duties. For this constitutional right to become a social reality, we need both legal enforcement and social reform. Police and administration both must actively protect couples exercising their rights. Education must promote gender equality, empathy, and constitutional values from a young age. Families must learn to respect individual autonomy, especially the choices of women. The Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud also rightly said that our Constitution protects the ability of each individual to make their own decisions and to shape the course of their life. Until society fully accepts this, freedom in love and marriage will remain partial. The right to choose a partner is a constitutional promise, but not yet a social reality for all. We have the laws, judgments, and the principles, but still we need a change of heart and mind. The honor lies not in controlling someone's choices, but in respecting them. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, freedom is not worth having it if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. Let us create a society where love is not bound by caste or religion, where choice is respected, and where every individual can live with dignity and happiness. I wish the Chayan a grand success and a step towards this progress. Thank you.